The governor signed a new gun control bill into law recently. The law is modeled after new Texas abortion law, which allows citizens to sue abortion providers in the state. The new law is targeting firearms.
Governor Gavin Newsom has recently signed a gun control bill modeled after Texas's abortion laws. The new gun control bill will allow private citizens to sue gun manufacturers. Distributors of assault firearms, or so-called ghost guns, can also be sued. The bill, known as Senate Bill 1327, will take effect in January. It was modeled after Texas's abortion law that allows people to sue anyone who aids or abets in an abortion. Like the Texas law, people will receive at least $10,000 in damages for each weapon plus attorney fees. Newsom said at a news conference Friday at Santa Monica College that he expects the law to be litigated in the Supreme Court. Sam Paredes, the executive director of Gun Owners of California, told the Los Angeles Times that the legislation is a retaliation against lawful gun owners. Paredes said that the firearms industry will have a strong reaction to the bill going into law. Newsom additionally signed over 24 bills earlier this week, ranging from school safety to education, healthcare, transportation, conservation, and more. Bill Thomas, NTD News, California.
The San Francisco Police Department is on the verge of losing a significant number of police officers. One officer says there needs to be a lot of a cultural change to bring back the safe San Francisco he grew up in.
San Francisco is facing a police exodus. Richard Sabati, sergeant at the San Francisco Police Department, told California Insider's Siamak Korami his perspective on why people want to leave SFPD and what it will take to turn things around. He illustrated just how many officers are thinking of leaving their position.
People thinking about leaving and the plans on leaving, and right now they came back with 54% are saying they're looking to leave or planning to leave in the near future.
Sabati explains that as more officers leave, the more work they will be tasked with to pick up the slack.
When you arrest somebody, you're going to have to write a police report about what happened. In addition to that, you have to book your evidence, you have to fill out your card to book somebody at county jail. Right now, due to the COVID restrictions that are still in place, even the process of booking somebody at county jail ends up frequently in hospital watches, where you have to take the person to the hospital and watch them there for hours and hours on end. So it's gotten frustrating for people, especially newer people who sign up for the job who want to go do police work, to now be stuck either behind a computer typing about what they did or sitting with the person they arrested for hours, days at a time.
Sabati says they are very short-staffed. He said they employed close to 1,900 officers in 2019. There were over 1,600 at the beginning of this year. He said the city hasn't seen such low numbers in over a decade. Sabati explained that there are fewer and fewer people who would want to join the police academy to train to be full-fledged officers. He said there's no hiring gains after factors like retirement and resignations are included.
Whether you want to do it voluntarily because you're looking to make more money, or for younger people they're falling into a lot of the mandatory overtime that's starting. It's going to create burnout, poor decision making, higher rates of injury, and then people just ultimately leaving because it's not what they signed up for, to work indefinitely.
Sabati explains that they are only a component of the criminal justice system. When they catch criminals, but if people aren't prosecuted, then they go back to the streets. He gives a recent example of a homeless man with mental health issues who likes to fight and bite the police.
A couple months ago, he bit one of our officers. Pretty good, bite on the arm. Wow. It went to the prosecution side, and as far as I know, nothing's happening. So then last week we have him again, and he goes and we get in a fight. A couple cops get injured. He bites a couple more cops, and this is like, those are two recent examples, but he's got a long history of fighting the police and getting there where cops now get injured. So now we have a twofold problem of more cops are getting injured, so we have fewer left to respond to calls. And then now you have this guy who has escalated violence, and even against the police.
Sabati says there will need to be a large cultural and political shift, which includes bringing in other voices in an increasingly progressive city. He hopes there is a will to want to change so San Francisco can be safe, like what he experienced growing up. Eileen Ang, NTD News, California.
To watch the full program, find the California Insider on YouTube or Epic TV on the Epic Times website. Should illegal immigrants be allowed to vote in the United States? After a New York State Supreme Court judge struck down a similar law last month, citing it as unconstitutional, a city in Southern California is now considering it. The council wants to give voters the choice to count illegal immigrant votes or not.
Orange County's Santa Ana City Council introduced a proposal last week to let illegal immigrants vote in local elections. If passed, voters in Santa Ana will have the final say whether or not to let illegal immigrants cast their votes. Councilman Ryan Hernandez introduced the item.
I would like to see us include language that would allow voters to decide if residents who are non-citizens should, I believe that they should be able to vote in our elections.
Hernandez listed New York as one of the cities that has introduced such a law, but a New York Supreme Court judge struck it down 1 month ago. Hernandez listed other cities like San Francisco, which already have such measures. Mayor Pro Tem Phil Becerra opposed the measure, saying it was introduced, quote, at the last minute. He felt that it needs more in-depth discussion by the city's committee that reviews charter changes. Mayor Vicente Sarmiento said he thinks voters are likely to be in favor of this idea, as Santa Ana is majority Hispanic. According to 2020 U.S. Census data, more than a quarter of the city's 310,000 people were illegal immigrants. The City Council made changes last March to allow illegal immigrants to sit on city boards, committees, and commissions. A decision was not reached on Tuesday, but the issue may be brought back on August 2nd. If it passes the council, it will be on the ballot in November for voters to decide. Daniel Hall, NTD News, California.
California repealed its ban on the use of digital currency for political donations. The change comes after putting new policies in place to prevent misuse. NTD's Jason Blair has more.
Residents of California will soon be able to use digital money to donate to state and local political campaigns. The state's Fair Political Practices Commission voted on July 21st to approve the change. 4 years ago, California banned the use of digital money for political contributions due to concerns of not being able to trace illegal donations. While proposing the repeal, General Counsel David Bainberg told the commission that there are new safeguards that can prevent money laundering. He said to the commission, in many circumstances with cryptocurrency, it's untraceable. In drafting this regulation, we were cognizant of these very legitimate concerns. Cryptocurrency donors will need to use a federally approved payment processor that will verify their identity in order to prevent anonymous donations. The law will go into effect by September 19th. Jason Blair, NTD News, California.
Officials in Laguna Beach have determined the cause of a fire that forced the thousands of residents to evacuate earlier this year. The flames has scorched over 150 acres of land, but was contained in a matter of few days. Let's hear more on what authorities believe caused the blaze.
Laguna Beach officials say high winds and power lines caused the Emerald Fire back in February. According to the investigation by the Orange County Fire Authority, the winds caused sparks that exposed 3 high-voltage power lines onto nearby vegetation. As a result of the investigation, Mayor Sue Kempf and Mayor Pro Tem Bob Whalen have asked the utility provider Southern California Edison to move their power lines underground in the Laguna Beach area. Whalen said in a statement that this news that above-ground power lines have caused another California wildfire in our own backyard is a wake-up call for all of us that the utilities need to underground now, no matter the cost. You cannot put a dollar amount on any life lost to wildfire. The utility company told the Epoch Times that there was no circuit activity or damaged wire during the time of the fire. They also stated that it filed an official report with the State Utility Commission and has launched its own investigation.
4 California condors recently took to the skies above the state's redwood forests. These condors were part of an effort to reintroduce the birds to the area in over a century. Here's the story.
For the first time since 1892, the endangered California condors now soar over Northern California's Redwood National and State Parks. The Yurok tribe successfully released the 4 birds, 1 female and 3 males, as part of a reintroduction effort to help the condors reclaim a portion of their former historic range. Joseph James, the chairman of the Yurok tribe, said condor reintroduction is a real-life manifestation of our cultural commitment to restore and protect the planet for future generations. It is a historical moment in the Yurok tribe as we introduce our condors back home, providing that balance for us. Our prayers are answered. According to the Yurok Wildlife Department, the reintroduction efforts began in 2003 when a panel of Yurok elders decided the condors were the highest priority land-based animal to return to Yurok ancestral territory. The 4 condors are between 2 and 4 years old. It will take several more years until these birds are at an age to reproduce in the wild.